So there I was, dragging some guy to his sad but inevitable fate for quite literally no reason at all. After I was done cutting him more times than a slightly depressed middle schooler, I realized that I kind of enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I decided to become a hitman. Before I can do that though, I'm gonna have to change my outfit because I currently look like a cowboy from Wish. Are you guys ready to see my hitman outfit? In 3, 2, 1, here it is. I decided to go with the sophisticated yet kind of creepy relative that you see every 3 years approach. Before I can start this masterpiece of a video, I should go over the most important aspect. Instead of killing everybody that comes in a 20-foot radius of me, I decided to spin a wheel to decide which kills I'll need to pull off. Will I be able to become a hitman in Red Dead Redemption 2? Let's find out. Riding a vehicle. In typical Hitman fashion, I decided to get on top of a building and scope out my target with a sniper rifle. I eventually found some guy that was riding a boat, so I obviously tried to snipe him, which didn't work out too well. The only thing that was worked out was a one-way ticket to the slammer. I'm not too keen on dropping the soap, so I humbly declined the ticket. In other words, I started killing every last one of the cops. Just as I thought I wasn't going to be able to fulfill my contract, I spotted some guy riding a wagon, so I immediately sniped him. All I had to do now was escape, which was easier said than done, especially considering that there was a whole cop squad on my back. Nonetheless, I was eventually able to escape, which means that I can officially move on to the next kill. Playing an instrument. A couple months ago, one of my siblings' friends made a joke about how a very specific part of the male body is technically an instrument. Just as I thought it couldn't get any worse, he then went on to say that he's a percussionist. Needless to say, I haven't talked to him since. Putting that absolutely horrendous joke aside, once I found an actual percussionist, I immediately lodged a throwing axe into his head. Murdering someone may be a lot of fun, but just like a lot of other fun things in life, it comes with a consequence. The consequence in my situation was being chased down by a dozen cops. I decided to hide in the local cemetery because it seemed like a pretty reasonable place to hide. To no one's surprise, I was correct, which means that I can finally move on to the next kill. Overalls. I decided to go to Inbred Avenue because they're the only people with the actual audacity to wear overalls in the early 1900s. I may not be the most fashionable person to grace the earth, but come on, get with the times. Just as I was about to kill one of the obsolete inbreds, one of their goats attacked me. It must have not liked my harsh, but pretty reasonable choice of words, so I beat it to a pulp. I have always wanted to try goat soup, so today must be my lucky day. Or so I thought, because not even a couple seconds later, the entire community of Inbred Avenue started attacking me. I was only planning on killing one of them, but trust me, I'm not complaining. Once they were all dead, I came across another goat, so I got my machete out and started butchering it. Animal abuse is definitely the best kind of abuse. Just kidding, it's obviously child abuse. Anyways, let's move on to the next kill. Shopkeeper. I made my way over to the Armadillo shopkeeper because he's a very mean and downright controversial person. As a YouTuber who's never said anything mean or controversial, I took this man's words to heart, so I hogtied him to the ground, placed about a dozen sticks of dynamite all around him, and then watched him get blown to smithereens. I then proceeded to lace him with all the ammunition that I had to offer, because why not? I know it's kinda hard to tell, but trust me, he's definitely dead. Anyways, let's move on to the next kill. Fishing. Once I found a fisherman, I tackled him into the water and then started beating him like there was no tomorrow. I'm not all that bad of a person though, so I let him have a 5-minute swimming break. Hospitality really goes a long way. Too bad this isn't hospitality. After I was done with the fishermen, some smart aleck thought it would be a good idea to try and snitch to the cops. I immediately reminded him that snitches get facial reconstruction surgery. I'm not too sure if that's how the original saying goes, but let's just ignore that for now. Anyways, let's move on to the next kill. Riding a horse. It must be my lucky day because I was able to find not one, not two, but 3 innocent bypassers that just so happen to be riding horses. Murder is always better in large numbers, so I immediately took this wonderful opportunity. A couple of well-deserved brain piercings later, I was finally able to kill every one of the not-so-fortunate bypassers. Before I move on to the next part, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel, let alone make me a very happy content creator. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get back to the video. Hair. Considering that almost everybody has hair in this game, I decided to just pick a random town and let loose like I was Arnold Schwarzenegger starring in my 17th Terminator movie. I say that in a joking manner, but I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if they end up making 11 more movies. A couple of very well-placed kill cams later, I was finally able to kill all the innocent NPCs. Anyways, let's move on to the next kill. Holding an item. A couple months ago, I made a video titled I Became the Most Wanted Man in Red Dead Redemption 2. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the beginning of the video, I was pretending to be Rambo. That was until Sheriff Freeman shot me back to reality. You can all probably see where this is going. To no one's surprise, once I went up to him, he was talking about a bunch of nonsense that quite literally no one cares about. He was also holding a shotgun, which means that he's a perfect target. With all of that newfound information, I decided that it was time to fulfill my contract, so I got out my pistols and started demolishing him. I felt like I needed some sort of trophy for this outstanding accomplishment, so I took his lifeless body. It smelled like dead animals, cacti, and just a bit of leather. I better be careful with my choice of words because you guys may find out that I'm a necrophiliac. I mean, you guys may think that I'm a necrophiliac. Ignoring that very concerning statement, once I escaped the cops, I found a secluded area and, now that I'm thinking about it, that also sounds very concerning, so let's just move on to the next kill. Eating. Look at all of these disgusting people filling their gullets with this so-called healthy food. As an estranged hitman, I only eat the healthiest of foods, such as Burger King's Impossible Whopper, canned vegetable soup, and if I'm feeling a little feisty, I may even indulge myself with some maraschino cherries. According to experts, the best way to deal with unhealthy people is to blow them to smithereens, so I did just that. The cops must have not agreed with me since they immediately started hunting me down. A couple of insane parkour moves later, I found myself on top of a bank. The view was surprisingly nice. The cops were eventually able to spot me though, so I got off the bank and headed on over to my horse. Once I escaped, I set up a camp and decided to move on to the final kill. Police officer. Just as I was about to kill the sheriff, he told me about a bounty that was currently available. It sounded pretty enticing, so I decided to check it out. The bounty was a man named Elias Green who's a part of a gang called the Skinner Brothers and is considered, and I quote, extremely dangerous. I don't typically discriminate against the people I kill, so I made my way over to Elias Green's location. On the way, I stumbled across a blind fortune teller that was begging for money. It's always good to help those in need, so I gave him some money. He proceeded to tell me how I should embrace the ones that love me and not the memory of those who pretended to. Anyways, after that I continued onwards to Elias Green's location. Once I got there, I noticed that he had some backup. Even better. Once they were all dead, I noticed that they were trying to pursue a career in the barber business. I'm not gonna lie, they actually did a pretty decent job. So much so that I actually felt bad for killing all of them, so I headed on back to the sheriff to discuss the topic at hand. I asked him why he didn't tell me that they were all aspiring barbers, and all he had to say was, "Get out of my office." I do not tolerate any disrespect when it comes to situations such as this one, so I threw a couple Molotov cocktails at him. I then got on my horse and started riding for my dear life. Once I escaped, I went back home, antagonized my wife just like any other loving husband in the early 1900s, and then called it a day. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you haven't already and you like my content, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.